go through. You gotta understand, I lived with Dave for about a year. Throughout that year, he was just the most nagging little festering sore that you just can't reach. So this has been coming a long time. Ever since you said you were getting married, I was kind of preparing for this day. So I just want to say hi to family and friends. My name is Francois. I lived with Dave. I had the pleasure of knowing this couple for a couple of years. Well, since these guys have been together, really hearing about you and stuff. And knowing Dave for a while, we lived together for a second year of med school. So I think, when I really got to know Dave, it was our roommate, Leanne Howard. She told me, Dave's going to be living with us. So I said, Dave? Which Dave? And she said, oh, Dave, the little white guy with the fro. So I was like, oh, Dave, that's awesome. His fro's amazing. I'm so excited. After all that excitement about Dave's fro, I had to actually, live with Dave, and I found out that there's more to Dave as a man behind his fro. And I can only describe this year that Dave was living. It was kind of a transitional time of his life, so he's a little bit different from how he is now. But I found out some things about Dave. The first thing I learned about Dave was when I came home one Friday night, and I saw Dave was sitting in the living room watching Star Wars. And my first thought was, okay, maybe Dave's a little dorky, but Star Wars is pretty cool. It's all right, I can pass. But then I moved in closer and I realized that he had a computer on his lap, and the computer was playing the same Star Wars movie as the one on TV. So at that point I'm thinking, okay, maybe Dave is just kind of a nerd. So at that point I wanted to further my assessment, so I went to Dave and I said, Dave, what are you doing exactly? And Dave just turns to me and he says, I'm comparing the new updated Star Wars to the old Star Wars version on my computer. To look for any disparities. Yes, it is Friday night, and yes, I am the biggest nerd in the world. So my first observation, Dave is one of the most self-aware nerds I've ever seen in my life. The second thing I found out about Dave was that at the time Dave was prone to panic attacks. And knowing this, our friends Doc Broderick and myself used to put Dave in the most anxiety-provoking situations that we could. And these situations usually involve Dave going on the dance floor and approaching girls. And they would all end in pretty much the same way. Dave would get within 2 feet of the girls, he's going to have shortness of breath, and keel over with chest pain. But the third thing I noticed about Dave was that at the time, Dave was just the most unlucky person I've ever met in my life. I mean, really, when I would listen to the stories Dave would tell about his life, Dave's life was just less of stories, they were more of just a series of unfortunate misadventures. At the time, you have to understand, Dave only owned a VCR and an air mattress. We used to have this joke that if somebody broke into the house, nothing would be taken from the house except for Dave's VCR, and on top of that, somebody would poop on his mattress. But in noticing all those three qualities of Dave, I ended up noticing one other quality. I think most of us that were, if we were as unlucky as Dave was, we would probably lose our minds or just go ahead, rob a bank, tie people up, I don't know, just go crazy at that point. But Dave, he just remained a really solid, genuine, good guy. And I have to say, I've never met anybody in my life that has more honesty and integrity than Dave. He's truly one of the best human beings I've ever known.
Alright!
And I really have never been happier in my life than Dave met Steph. I'm sure that, I'm not the only person that noticed this, but within 5 minutes of meeting Steph, I realized that she's genuinely just a great person and has a smile that lights up the room and just makes everybody feel, warm and just a genuinely happy, good person. So definitely we'll give it up to her, and I think we've seen that. I know you said great things really do happen to great people. You know, and I think Dave's luck probably changed now. He's doing well with his job. He's in better shape. He looks happier. He stopped wearing the Scoopy ripped up baseball caps as much.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, I don't see him as much.
No, he hasn't.
Has it? He used to wear it like all the time. You know, and, I mean, I think the stories he tells me lately, you know, I don't need antidepressants to hear. So let's all raise our glasses to now the luckiest guy I know, and the luckiest girl I know. He's definitely a good guy right here, and you know, it's a beautiful couple. So congratulations, guys.